Keep it high, keep it tight. I'm GMgaming Review Guy, back to bring you another 5-minute review. Sorry that I wasn't able to upload a video yesterday. Some stuff just came up in real life and I wasn't able to do it. There's no particular reason, it's just I wasn't able to get a video out tomorrow, but I hope to compensate today and have 2 videos up for you guys, so that's going to be awesome. So today we're going to be talking about From Death to Destiny by Asking Alexandria. So this was an album that was very polarizing to the fan base. Asking Alexandria was one of the kind of preeminent metalcore bands at the kind of first wave inception, when bands like Killswitch Engage and As I Lay Dying and Unearthed were coming around. And they really embraced a lot of the same theme, but they also had the kind of emo culture that was mixed in, the post-hardcore, the screamo type of themes on their first official album, which was entitled Stand Up and Scream. Now, they released an album after that called Reckless and Relentless, and that album was it had some more mellow tracks. It still maintained its heaviness, but it still had some softer tracks. And then From Death to Destiny was really the big turning point for the entire band, because on From Death to Destiny, you get a sound that is a lot more rooted in the sort of hard rock metalcore type of veneer. And it's strange because I think that it works very well. And there's a lot of people that say that this is a weak album. There's a lot of people that say that this isn't what they expect from the band. This isn't what they wanted from the band. And to that, I'll say what I always say whenever I talk about bands that have changed their sound. And that is simply accept them as whatever band they currently are, not the band that they aren't to you. And in my opinion, I think that this album does succeed. There are a lot of tracks on here that remind me of if you took Stand Up and Scream, like some of the tracks from Stand Up and Scream, and mixed them with almost like it's hard to say, but like a Foo Fighters almost, like a Foo Fighters or a Nirvana, or that kind of a grunge or post-grunge type of band, a hard rock band, like Breaking Benjamin or Shinedown, Five Finger Death Punch even. And I think it succeeds. And the track, I believe it's the second one. Yes, the second track, Killing You. I really love that track. That is one of the tracks that actually got me into the band. When I first heard that, it really caught my ear, and I was a big fan of it. When it came down to it, I went back to that track a lot, and I still do. There are a lot of tracks on this album that I actually regularly will go back to, even though some of their other material I will enjoy more. This is definitely the kind of middle ground album, kind of, you could compare it to a Sempiternal by Bring Me the Horizon. I believe I've done an album review on that as well, if you want to go check that one out. It's kind of the same deal where they changed up their sound, it was polarizing, and there were a lot of people on the fence on either side. And to me, I feel like this is an album that is transformative for the band, and I feel like it was needed for the band, because you can go on making the same music over and over and over, but it's never going to really... It's never going to fully capture the original burst of energy there is, and it's kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're gonna be cursed if you try to go out of your boundaries, and you're gonna be cursed if you make the same music over and over, and people will call you Nickelback. Breaking Benjamin is a good example. I reviewed their album Ember. They're a great example of being able to literally stay in their core sound without going out of their boundaries, but still make it interesting on each album and be successful. From Death to Destiny, if I remember correctly, is their highest charting album, and it is on the Billboard 200, and it is a lot more accessible to a wider fan base, and I could see some of these tracks being played on the radio, like Moving On. That is such like a radio rock type of sound, and I think that this album overall is pretty good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because there are things that could be better about it. It is kind of fringe line where sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's really soft, sometimes it's not. And I feel like this was needed for the band because the 2 albums that came after it which would be The Black, which kind of went to the early roots, and more specifically, an album I've also done a review of, their self-titled album, just Asking Alexandria, that came out at the end of last year. I feel like those two albums, they were different, and I think that it was needed. So this has been Jay Morse Review Guy. I'm signing off saying farewell.